Do you want better relationships at work and at home?
Then we've got the insights to make it happen.
I'm Larry.
And I'm Dax, and this is Enrich Relationships Part 2.
Practical skills to lead, connect, and grow. Seeking feedback is so important because it helps us to develop and become better in whatever it is that we're trying to do. For example, I remember as an undergrad that I felt like the most important thing I could do was turn in my work, get it done by the deadline, and make sure I met whatever the requirements were. But as I went into graduate school and started to realize that I was working more in a specific area and that it was an area that I wanted to get better and better at, I started learning more and more the importance of seeking feedback. Because in seeking feedback, I realized that there were many blind spots that I had, that things that I was trying to do just to meet the criteria looked good to me, but I was just one set of eyes. And that truly the root of feedback is feed. And getting that information helped feed the thinking that I had going into my project or my writing or even in relationships. And that feedback helps develop a richer project or a richer product or a richer relationship.
I like how you say feedback starts with feed. We talk a lot at work about the importance of feedback, specifically in accepting feedback and being open to feedback. That word feed just makes me think that it helps you to grow, it nourishes you, it strengthens you, and that's absolutely true with good feedback, real feedback. There's feedback that's not so helpful, and maybe we can talk about that later, but the feedback that comes from a place of care, a place of wanting to help you, it can be hard to recognize that that is going to be something that will feed you. Perhaps it's like a vegetable that you don't like, some broccoli or cauliflower, and you say, that's not what I really want. But if you take that bite, if you accept that feedback, it absolutely will help you grow and will be what you need to become the person that you want to be. And we see that a lot at work, where with your boss, with my boss, with anyone's boss, part of the job is to give feedback. And so we're taught that it's important to accept feedback for performance. But when it comes from a boss who genuinely cares, it's more than just performance. It's about you as a person. And again, that applies even at home. If I can quickly talk about that, I know that feedback at home is a tricky subject because it can feel uncomfortable to say, I want to give you feedback to a spouse or sibling, or especially to a parent. But when it's done with love, when it's done from a place of care, prefaced with the principles that we talked about in the very first episodes of season 1 about having those hard conversations and approaching it with the, I care about you and therefore I want to share with you this feedback, we find that that's what helps improve those relationships. It helps people be willing to listen and helps us as well be willing and able to share what needs to be shared.
And I was thinking of your example. I think one of the things that happens in our family, because it is hard, is it teaches or it empowers humility. And I was thinking about people that have asked for my feedback. Many times I thought, well, that's very kind that you would ask for that. And it's been interesting to watch how they respond to that. Many are very humble in what they're asking for. They're genuine in what they're seeking. And also they're strong in themselves, that they're willing to ask for it. They're making decisions based on the feedback they're getting. And yet they still are true to who they are. But again, most of the times it's coming from a very humble place. And it seems like they're constantly wanting to learn, constantly wanting to get better. And it also draws me in to want to be like that I want to become better at seeking feedback and learning from it and becoming better. So I really believe seeking feedback is very empowering.
You had shared with me earlier, it also builds emotional intelligence. As we were talking about the importance of EQ or emotional intelligence, 3 principles really stood out there. And it's that when we actively seek feedback, it helps us build humility, allowing us to be open to imperfection, being able to accept what we may not want to see in ourselves, but what we need to see. It helps us build resilience by helping us stay grounded when we hear something that might be hard and might rub us the wrong way, but again, is meant for our good. And third, it helps us to build empathy. It helps us see how others are impacted by what we do and how we come off to other people so that we can change and improve ourselves to help others. The whole point of enriching relationships is to step outside ourselves and to look at how are we impacting those people around us and how can we help them to know that we genuinely care and love for them by improving ourselves.
That's so true. And I really think with feedback, it helps us with focus. It helps us stay grounded in who we are and to focus on those things that are most important. And as we seek feedback, and as we also have that focus in our lives, that feedback that resonates with us will be those things that are connected to our focus and will help us. It also helps us stay connected with reality, which I think is another real important piece of this, because sometimes it's easy to be influenced by things, again, that may distract us or take us away. And then that feedback can help take us back to our center, to our core, again, to our focus, and help protect us from getting overconfident or caught up in clutter or distraction.
So if these sound like things that you want in your life, this is your invitation to ask for feedback. Feed yourself with feedback. Turn to a trusted family member, specifically someone who you find it might be hard to give or receive feedback from. Maybe that's a parent, maybe that's your spouse, maybe it's someone else. But turn to a family member with whom it might be hard to give or receive feedback and ask for that feedback to build those skills, to ground yourself, to ground your focus, and to enrich your relationship.
That's a great point. In fact, I'd connect with that. That made me think. Ask the person that you trust. You talked in the very beginning about your spouse and your children, that kind of stuff. It's so important when we seek feedback. It's someone that we trust. Not only do we trust them because they have wisdom, but we trust them because they genuinely care about us. I know sometimes it may be easy to trust AI, and AI has no interest in us. It may have a lot of interesting artificial ideas, and it may not be a bad source to get some feedback, but it can throw us off on our focus if we allow it to be the source of our truth. So be careful with that. Always go to somebody you love and trust, and especially that you know loves and trusts you. Thank you for tuning into today's episode, and be sure to check out our other episodes where we explore additional ways to enrich your relationships at work and with your family.
Before you take off, we invite you to subscribe and share what you liked from this episode with friends, colleagues, and family. Take a moment and share feedback and suggestions with us directly at enrichrelationshipspodcast@gmail.com.
Lasting change comes from enriching your relationships both at work and at home.